Who jumps out of perfectly good airplanes in the name of science? Mr. C.
Well, happy Monday to you. Where did that weekend go? Boy, they go by quickly. So unbelievable. Hey, Mr. C, how come you've got your Vikings hat on and your Vikings jersey? Well, a couple of reasons. Okay. First, I better rewind, though. Better back up. You've got your lesson planner. Yeah. Okay. And you've got your journal. Yeah. Are we going to write in our journal today, Mr. C? Yeah. So, ready to write. And in your journal, find Friday, quiz on Friday. Got good news for you for Wednesday. No school Wednesday. So we've got Monday and Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that's where we're headed. Now, meanwhile, back to my Vikings hat and jersey. Now, this jersey, it takes me back to my 1960 days in high school when I was a Minnesota Vikings fan, as I told you before, and can you see the name there? Maybe you can. You can't. I can't turn around so you can see Tarkenton as the name on the back. The original Vikings quarterback, one of the best ever. So anyway, it's a throwback jersey. I'm excited to own it. But why do I have it on? Well, I'm pretending that the Vikings are still in the playoffs. Mr. C, they're not. Actually, I'm not pretending they're in the playoffs, but I'm doing one of the things that my daughter Laura suggested last Friday that you do with your superpower. And I'm going to review the superpower in a little bit, but here's what she recommended. She recommended as part of your superpower, you have the ability to think whatever you want to think. You can control with your will, part of being made in God's image, your will, you can choose, your chooser, you can choose to think about whatever you want to. So regarding the Vikings, here's what I'm choosing to think about. I am choosing to think about the good old days and wonderful memories of following the Vikings in the past. So, happy memories. We can choose what we think about. So, more on that when I come back to it in a little bit. Now, this jersey is a big SSR. So, I want to remind you about SSRs, and I want to tell you 3 ways that you can milk an SSR, squeeze out of an SSR, kind of like triple enjoy it. Triple enjoy it. And we used to do this all the time with our 3 daughters. Number 1, we would anticipate a big SSR that was coming. We talk about it in our family. For instance, if we had, say, and we did this one time with the girls, we went over to the Rose Bowl, saw the Rose Bowl parade on January 1st, and went to the actual Rose Bowl game. ASU played in it. So it was a massive SSR. So we talked about it on the front end before we ever went. Then we actually experienced it and really enjoyed it. So that's times 2. And then the third thing we can do involves what Laura suggested, what you think about. We still discuss with our daughters, and my wife and I discuss, just how cool it was going to the Rose Bowl parade and then to the Rose Bowl itself. So we anticipate it, we experience it, we remember it and talk about it, and then we thank God for it often. So anyway, That's the way we get the most out of it. And the biggest SSRs in our lives, we can use that strategy with them. For instance, biggest SSRs in my life. Probably the day I met Sharon Kincaid, who turned out to be my wife. The day I met her, boy, was that an exciting day. Just over the top SSR. The day we got engaged. And then the day we got married. The 3 days our 3 girls were born. Doesn't get any more exciting than those days. Biggest SSRs of all. And we can use those 3 strategies on them. Anticipate, experience, remember, and then don't forget to thank God for them. So anyway, hey, I have a mystery photo for you. Going to try to do mysteries with you regularly. First, I showed you this yesterday. And I told you that these dots, also it could be stripes, are what is known as disruptive coloring. Breaks up the body outline, so it's hard to see animals with disruptive coloring. Tough to see them. Here's another mystery photo. Check this out. I'll pull it back there. Can you see it? Mr. C, all I see is a bunch of dead leaves. I know. Some of you actually see it though. If you look, have a look. I'm going to pull it up close, or I better pull it back. This is a tropical praying mantis. Here is the head right there. Still hard to see, isn't it? Right there. Is this incredible coloration or what? Here's the body. Right there. Right there, the body. Legs. It's an insect, so 6 legs. Antenna. Amazing coloration. This is called cryptic coloration, because the animal is looking very much like its background. Or it's also known as mimicry. It's mimicking dead leaves. Now, could it have ever evolved this over thousands of years? No, it would have been eaten right away when it was easily spotted by predators. So what has happened? God designed it this way. It's a divine design. Animal coloration is a divine design. No way it happened accidentally. No way. Just absolutely didn't happen accidentally. So pretty cool. Mimicry, because they are mimicking. To mimic means to look like. They are mimicking some kind of background. So pretty cool. I hope you found that interesting. Now, back to your journals. If you have your journal at the ready, your journal's handy. Quiz on Friday. Now, you old-timers who've already had me, you know this about me already. Got a few newbies. You 7th graders may have forgotten that my MO, my modus operandi, that means the way I do things. It's Latin for mode of operation, or the way you do things. My modus operandi is to tell you the topics on an upcoming quiz or test. This is really on Friday going to be a mini test. I don't know how many points exactly. I'd estimate 25 to 30, perhaps. Okay, so the play out of the week. Today we'll cover what we've already covered. I'm reviewing what's going to be on the test. Tuesday, I'm going to teach you some new information about meteorology, the weather. Wednesday, no class. Thursday, more meteorology. Friday, the test. It's like a big quiz. Actually, it's a small test. Okay? So I'm going to go over, you'll have to write John 1:3. All things were made by him, and without him nothing was made that has been made. Meaning, I'm going to ask you the meaning. Jesus made every atom in the universe. Or another way to say it, Jesus made all matter in the universe. So, cool. It's proof that he's God. It's a sign that he's God. The book of John is all about signs that Jesus is God. And one of the major signs in John 1, he created everything. So, yeah, it would take a God to do that. Sure would. So anyway, John 1:3. So you're writing this either in your journal, you're making sure, maybe in your lesson planner. The Galileo experiment is going to be on the test. What did Galileo do? He dropped objects that had different masses from the same height at the same time. Boo! Wanted to see what would happen. Now he couldn't find out the way he did it, but because they had enough mass, therefore they had enough weight, therefore they were pulled hard enough by Earth's gravity, therefore it kind of sort of worked. Okay, really you can, and I'll ask you this, you can only do the experiment in a vacuum where all of the air has been evacuated, sucked out. So you've got to, you would have to do it in a vacuum. But he lucked out. He didn't exactly know this, but he did it. But he found out anyway 400 years ago when he dropped it from the Tower of Pisa. So, and the objects were pulled equally hard by gravity, which is what they do in a vacuum. So this would work on what planetary body? It's a vacuum. We've had astronauts there. Where? The MOON, of course, on the moon. Vacuum. So you could try that. In fact, one of the astronauts in, I think, Apollo 11, but maybe it was after that, one of the Apollo projects after that, actually dropped a hammer and a feather on the moon, and they fell at the same time. Mr. C, could you show us that video? Perhaps. Might try to find it later in the week. It is cool. In fact, if I remember, I'll do it. I'll try to remember and show it to you. It is a cool video. So the objects, no matter their mass, are pulled equally hard, fall at the same rate. Then I'm going to ask you about hydration. Hydration. Glug, 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 glug. Wah, wah, H2O, water. You and I need to stay hydrated. Now, I've really been working at this for the last week. A little bit more, almost 10 days. How much are you drinking? I am drinking about 8 cups of water, about this size, every day. How much is that? About 80 ounces. Wow. You guessed her. Now, anyway, so what does hydration do for your body? It helps your brain. Your brain is mostly made of water, lots of water in your brain. So, got to keep your brain hydrated for it to work properly. Your bones, radius, ulna, humerus, all your bones. Your bones are made of way more water than you would suspect. So helps your bones out, helps your joints stay lubricated so they can work properly. This joint right there keeps them lubricated. So your joints, helps your heart. You're putting these in your journal, right? How many are you going to ask on this on Friday? What do you think's fair? Maybe 4? 4 parts of your body that are benefited by H2O, by water. So your heart, your kidneys, which are in your back, inside, obviously. So your kidneys operate properly, and they cleanse the liquid. They cleanse your blood. Blood is regularly run through your kidneys. They act as filters. They filter your blood, filter the amount of water you drink. The more water you drink, the better the filtering, up to a point. Now, you can drink too much water, and that's not good. That's why I'm not telling youans how much water to glug, 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 glug every day. For adults, adult men, it's about 3 liters. We also get water in the food we eat, about 20% of our water in the food we eat. Fruits, mostly water. You probably knew that, but they're 80% water, 70% water. Your body is 70% water. So the foods we eat have about 20% of the water we need, and then I'm doing about 3. Well, actually, I'm doing about 2.5 or a little bit more liters a day. I'm a little under that 100 ounces. That would be 10 cups of water. I'm doing about 8 cups of water. So what am I at right now? I think I'm at 6. So I need 2 more cups to finish off my goal of 80 ounces. So I'll get there. So today yet. So what else does water help as far as in your body? Okay, I got to the heart. So, and then the kidneys. So what else? It keeps your blood vessels inflated, which is another thing that it does. It helps with infection. It helps your immune system. It helps your digestive system. It helps you dilute the nutrients in your food so they can get into your bloodstream and to where they're supposed to go properly. So it helps all of that. Let's see, what other systems does it help with? And that's about 10 right there. So next week, if I missed 1 or 2 biggies, I'll go over them. Okay, then I've got the photo backup of Dr. Howard Gardner's intelligences or kinds of smarts. So you see it up. I'm going to ask you this on Friday. So I'll probably ask you to do again probably 4. Okay? Maybe more. So work on these. I've got them alphabetized. You can see them on the photo. There is Art Smart, where you're really visually smart. You're a visual learner. You're good at seeing things, objects and their shapes, and putting them on paper. So there'd be a spatial part to this where you see how things fit, how they're put together. Now, excuse me, how good are you, Mr. C, with this particular one? Well, I'm really a visual learner. I'm highly visual, but I'm not good at putting it down on paper. So I'm sort of halfway there. Some of you are super visual and artistic, art smart. Not me, but some of you are. And it's easy for you to draw. So I'm halfway there. I'm half art smart. There's body smart, where you're what's called, you can see it up there, where you're coordinated physically. You can use your body to do a lot of different things and be involved in sports, say dancing. So just really coordinated. It would be hard for you to fall or trip. Even when you trip, your balance is really good. That's body smart, physical kinetic. You're God smart. This is a new one. It's called existential smart. And it's got a root word, exist, in it. So it's what I call God smart. So you're aware of how you got here. So, and how the universe was formed. It's like, how does everything exist? How do I exist? Why do I exist? That's existential. And we Christians have an advantage. We're all God smart. Some of us more sensitive than others, but it's a spiritual sense where you're aware that God exists, and it's, as far as reasons you can trust the Bible, you just have a knowing in your spirit that the Bible is God's Word. That's probably this existential smart, from the word exist. So it's a new one. I loved it. I loved it when I found it today. So I didn't even know that it had been added to the list. Then there's math smart. You're mathematical, logical. Your brain works so that you make really good and probably quick conclusions about things. So people who are math, logical smart, they're the ones who make really good scientists or philosophers. So math, logical smart, music smart. So in the math logical one, I'm not totally there. There were aspects of math that were hard for me. So I'm not 100% math logical smart, but quite a bit. But the music smart one, nope, not me. I mean, I love to sing. I love music. I love Christian songs. I love hearing a guitar and instruments, but playing an instrument, not so good. Many of you are good at singing. You can really carry a tune on key. You've got a good ear where you can hear on key, hear a musical tone. You're good at playing a musical instrument. So, music smart. There's nature smart. That's me. I love nature. I love beauty. I love seeing beauty in nature. I love seeing, you name it, things in nature. I was looking at the clouds a little bit earlier today and all fired up about them. So it's just the way I'm designed. All of these are a God thing. Okay, we have these smarts or intelligences or things that we're good at or aware of, part of our personality. It's a God thing. He made us this way. People smart, just sensitive to other people and what they're feeling, and you can look at their face maybe and kind of know what's going on with them. Good at meeting people, enjoy maybe talking to people. So that's me. People smart. Self-smart, self-aware smart. You're aware of your feelings, very sensitive to your feelings, what's going on in your soul and spirit. Self-smart. So that's another one. And then word smart, linguistics. You love words perhaps, you love to read, good at writing maybe. My daughter Laura's finished up writing a book. She is highly word smart. So linguistic. So anyway, those are Howard Gardner's smarts or intelligences. So anyway, they'll be coming at you on Friday. Then Laura talked about superpowers. Now, Laura told me, she insisted, she said, Dad, you cannot ask your students anything on the quiz about their superpower. Well, here's what I told her. Okay, I've told her this. Okay, now if I do ask you a question on the quiz, shh, keep it a secret. I'm not going to because I told her I wouldn't. But I told her this though, I might ask you a bonus point on what the superpower involves. Well, first it involves who you are, who God designed you uniquely to be. That's your superpower. That's you. And your superpower, there's no one like you exactly. God designed you specially to be you, and He has a purpose for you only in His kingdom. Isn't that awesome? Isn't that cool? It is so cool. When I figured this out, I was in my early 20s. Boy, it was exciting. It still is. You know, it still is, like 50 plus years later. Just to realize God made me with a special purpose. My gifts that He gave me, my smarts that He gave me, my personality that He gave me, which is part of your superpower. Okay? It is so cool. So, and it is, what's my word? It is fulfilling. It makes me happy knowing I'm using who God intended me to be for His glory and His kingdom. There's nothing like it. And by the way, if you and I don't regularly use who God designed us to be, our gifts and our talents and our personality, to glorify Him, we won't get the most and we won't be as happy out of life, of what we could be. So we'll only be the most fulfilled, the most happy, when we figure out who God made us to be and we dedicate it to Him to use in His kingdom. And then one day we'll be rewarded for it. How cool is that? God gives us all these gifts and makes us the way we are, and He'll reward us for that one day, for working really hard at pleasing Him. So, just awesome. So Laura also talked about, so you're unique you, that was one thing. The second thing is, she said that as part of our personality, we can choose what we think. And that's why the Vikings jersey and hat today. I'm choosing what I think about the Vikings. Wonderful memories in the past. Not this year, not so good. But there were still great memories about this year. The Vikings quarterback was one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. He just didn't have a good offensive line. So, and the Vikings have a super back that gained, I think, the second most yards, and he didn't even play the last game. So, and boy, can he run fast, and boy, can he fake people out. Fun memories. So I can choose what I think about the Viking. I can be all down and go, oh, the terrible year, and, do the Eeyore, it's never going to be good, it's always bad. Eeyore. Nope. I can be an Eeyore sometimes, like everybody, but nope. I'm choosing not to be in this area and in a lot of other areas as well. And then, so I can choose what I think and how I think about things. The third thing that Laura said is you can develop your super skill, your superpower, your skills. You can develop them. You can get really good at them. She's going to do a little future short lecture on how you can develop your superpower skills, your superpower smarts, your superpower awarenesses. She's going to tell you how to do it and what can happen if you really work at it. Like shooting free throws. Do you know, you physical kinetic people who love basketball, you can get to where if you practice enough, you can make 8 or 9 out of 10 free throws. I'm not kidding. Now you got to work at it, thousands and thousands of practice shots, and all the other areas as well. You can develop them. Isn't that cool? And then the other topic, all the meteorology stuff. Okay, I'm going to ask you about what meteorology is. Ology is, I might ask you that. Means study of. Meteor is the atmosphere, so the study of the atmosphere or the study of the weather. I'm going to ask you about El Nino and La Nina. In an El Nino weather pattern, the jet stream, the high level air stream blows storms over Southern California and Arizona, and we get a lot of snow in the high country and a lot of rain down here, and it fills up our reservoirs. Lord, please give us an El Nino later in the year. Right now, we've got a La Nina weather pattern. The jet stream is north of us, blowing storms over Northern California, Oregon, missing Arizona. So during that pattern, we have warm and dry weather. A drought. That's what we've got going right now. So that explains why we've been so dry for 3 months. So I'll ask you about jet streams, the steering winds that steer storms. I'm going to ask you about the kinds of clouds. So you just were looking at El Nino and La Nina, and now you're looking at a photo of clouds again. You've got stratus clouds. Then you've got cumulus clouds, fair weather clouds. Then they build up sometimes if there's a lot of moisture available. Cumulonimbus, rain, heavy rain, kinds of clouds. Okay, probably during the Great Global Flood, it was stratus clouds all over the earth for that whole 40 days and nights, and where it rained nonstop. where it rained hundreds, thousands of inches probably, and covered the highest mountains. So you've got those stratus, cumulus, cumulonimbus, and then the high ones that are like where you take a paintbrush and go cirrus, 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 cirrus. And you can see all four of those on that chart. So I'm going to ask you those. Then I'm going to ask you about the water cycle. The water cycle is God's way to move water all around the earth and make it fall. So the water cycle. So I'm looking at the time, and we're 30 minutes in, and I want to give Mr. Phillip a chance to answer any questions or clear up anything, clarify anything. So I'm going to hold off on the water cycle until tomorrow and give you a full explanation of it. I'm also going to tell you about precipitation tomorrow and kinds of precipitation, and I'm going to explain to you how you can get hailstones or hail balls. Now, many of you have seen like pea-size hailstones that have fallen in from cumulonimbus clouds. But do you know in massive thunderstorms over the south and the Midwest of the United States and the East, you can get hailstones, I'm not kidding, the size of softballs. You don't want to be out in a hailstorm when hailstones that big are falling. I mean, they could send you to heaven if they hit you just right. So anyway, I'll tell you about that tomorrow. You can look forward to that tomorrow. So anyway, review all of that. Your homework is to review all of that for Friday's quiz. Mr. Phillip, thank you.